One sec. There we go. Vacation was so needed. It was so needed. It had been like so long since I went anywhere. Just not because of like because normally what I do is I say we have a seminar weekend, I'll extend it out a day or something like that and turn it into a vacation.
Yeah.
But I'd just gone somewhere, kind of shut things down and just relax. It just, I can't believe I don't do that more. I'm Goomba. Yeah. How are you?
We're dealing.
That was a busy month for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very hard month.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how everything unfolds.
Yeah.
How was your fitness during your vacation?
Fitness was good, actually. Okay, so a couple things happened. The fitness part was amazing. Well, the food and the nutrition and the fitness part were all good.
Okay.
So there was 2 trips. One at the beginning of August, and then one was a week and a half later when we just got back from the seminar on Monday. The first one was great. I was with CrossFit friends, so it was really easy to stay on task, and one of the workouts I did for this upcoming, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm going to mess it up. Cephalus Gauntlet for street parking.
Yeah.
And it was a hills challenge. So it was for an hour and it was brutal because I'd never done hill sprints before, ever. Never done really sprints before. So that was a new thing.
Cool.
And was able to do it for the full hour. And they live in this really hilly area of California. So every time that we'd go out in the morning and at night to do, the LSD, it was sometimes straight up and down on one side. It was crazy, but it was good. I left there feeling so good, really confident about the work that I had done, staying on track. And then I get back. Okay, so here's what happened. I get back and I don't know, I was feeling a little weird on the flight coming back, started getting a lot of sinus issues or whatever.
Yeah.
And then by the second day that I was home, like it was full blown, like to a point where, let me see, I got back on Wednesday. By Saturday, I had to go to the clinic, one for a couple of reasons, because I thought maybe I had COVID. It was bad, like bad. Didn't test positive for COVID. They're like, I think you have some other kind of like viral infection in your lungs or something. But the other weird part of that is I had gotten on the scale and it was up 18 pounds. And I was like, holy shit. And so that was one of the other reasons that I had gone in because, the ankles were swollen, the feet were swollen, my face was swollen, everything about me was swollen. And so there was nothing serious. They said it was just a pretty moderate case of edema, but I mean, it's not unusual for me to gain weight when I fly, but I'd never seen numbers that high before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, at least I know what it is. One of the things that was different on that trip was I didn't wear my compression socks like I was supposed to.
Okay.
And I don't know what I was thinking. I thought maybe I had gotten to the point where I didn't need to wear them anymore. I was like, well, you're down close to 75 pounds. You don't need to wear those anymore. Wrong.
Yep.
So, from a mental perspective, I was okay because I knew where it was coming from, but still like that was a blow. And I know it's not supposed to be all about the scale and all that kind of shit, but it was for me.
Yep.
I was like, shit. Okay. Well, so then I spent the next, I decided because I was so sick, I didn't get a lot of workouts in for that 5 days after I got back. I took myself deliberately out of the deficit, didn't take myself off plan, but I upped the calories about 500 a day. just because the doctors were like, yeah, it's probably not a good idea for you to be in deficit right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I pulled myself out, just figured, just maintain. I was trying to get a lot of fruit, extra vitamin C, all kinds of, plugging myself full of all kinds of stuff, trying to feel better. And then about that 4th or 5th day, I started feeling better. And then whoosh, the water started coming off.
There we go.
And then I spent 2 days in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so I had managed to get 12 of the 18 off by the following Thursday. Was still up, but then I get on a plane again. At the weekend. The seminar went great. Travel went really good. Had a couple things down in Louisiana that weren't really part of plan, but they weren't terrible. We had some jambalaya and some gumbo. Got back, let's see, on late Sunday night, early Monday morning, and it was up 12. So I'm like, here we go again. And then it's taken most of this week. Here we are, what, Friday? So we got 6 of the 12 off, but basically total, we're still up 10 from where we were the first or 2nd week of August. So I don't know, like my body for that 2.5 weeks was like, what is going on?
Did the doctor, so we're always looking at the number on the scale. At least now we know where it's coming from. When you're traveling, if edema comes back, right, you're just going to be heavier on the scale. Did they recommend anything apart from the compression socks that you could do, should do, in order to help you with that?
Yeah, they were thinking that I was dehydrated going into the first trip.
Okay.
They're like, was there anything unusual? I didn't think so. But I mean, it's possible. So I went and got some of those. It's a brand that I use called Salt of the Earth. And it's just like those little hydration packets. And it's got just salts and minerals. And they said, do a couple of those. Make sure you're drinking when you go into the.
No, I lost you.
I swear to God, it happens on StreamYard at least once every time.
I lost you, yeah. So you got the salts of the earth?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started doing that. And then I saw physically that it did make a difference, making sure that I was essentially like floating going into that next flight. But it was brutal. It was a brutal month.
Yeah.
And I'm still like getting over that, whatever that was in my chest.
Yeah. And then so apart from that, did they recommend anything else?
No, just those 2 things.
So a couple things that you can do on your end in order to help with the edema, like especially in the legs.
Yeah.
If you're like, especially if you're traveling for seminars, if you have access to a pool at the hotel, to go walk in the pool, because being in the water, that hydrostatic pressure is going to help with circulation. Like it does, just like what the compression socks does. And then by walking in the pool, you're also activating your muscles. So that will help with the return of fluid and the lymph. So that's one thing. The other thing would actually to like exercise. So like when you get off the plane, to actually use your muscles. So like squat, deadlift, hip bridge, like whatever you want to do, because the muscles, the contraction of the muscles help with that return, and it should help flush some of that fluid out. So that's another thing. And then the last part, depending on how comfortable you feel, you can lie down on the floor with your legs like on a chair or against the wall. So it depends like how much you want coming back, but you can put like your calves on a chair, and then so now your legs are like perpendicular to the floor, and then you're lying on the floor. Again, you're just trying to help that system to flush out.
Yeah.
So those are things that can help, in the next 24, 48 hours. So like, yeah, if you're doing a seminar, then you're basically doing it like when you get there, when you get back, that will be like super quick. And we know like the length of the flight is also going to matter. So same thing, like when you're on the plane, if you're taking longer flights, try and stand, walk, just do like calf raises in the plane.
Yeah. I thought that I was trying to do all that. I guess it had been a while since I had taken that long of a flight. Normally my little flights were just little hoppers, but yeah, this that one sucked. I thought that I had gotten up at least once. It was like, I mean, it's a plane, it's hard to walk around, but
yeah. So that's why, like, I don't always walk around. Like sometimes I'll just stay like next to my seat, but I'll just like do some calf raises, move my legs around, move your feet, like activate your ankles. Like it's just getting some muscle activation that will help. And that should, I mean, it's not going to get rid of it completely. Obviously, like make sure you're wearing your socks, because that will take some of it. But otherwise, yeah, like and I have it like worse on some plane rides than others. And like, you're like, I don't know what. Like, is it just the pressure cabin on some airlines, on some planes? Like it could be, and then you don't have control over that. So it's like, well, what can you do when you're on the plane, when you're getting off, to make sure that we can control some of that edema as best as we can? So stay hydrated, move, do some exercises in the plane, do some exercises when you get off the plane, and then just kind of monitor it as you go.
Back in years ago, I went to Spain, and I think the flight from JFK, we landed in Amsterdam, and then it was another like 2 hours down into Madrid or whatever. But I was fine until we got there. I was feeling a little sore, but I chalked it up as like, well, it's just me sitting for so long. And then the second day I woke up in the hotel, and my ankles and the bottoms of my legs were so big that the tour had to take off without me. They had to call a doctor. And of course, over there, it's still the doctors that bring the little black bags to the hotels.
Yeah.
And he had to give me, these prescription, whatever it was that he gave me. But it took probably 3 or 4 days. And that's why I'm terrified of, doing these international seminars. As much as I want to do them, I'm still terrified because my body doesn't respond well to long plane rides. It's horrible. Like your feet get so big that it doesn't even fit into your shoes.
Yeah.
And, I had a chat with the doctor on Saturday, and I was like, I recognize that this is, it's a sucky side effect of having obesity. It really is, because you're more prone to getting it. And I was like, when I get the weight off, is this going to go away? And he was like, maybe not.
Yeah.
He's like, although you're more prone to it, it doesn't mean that your body's not sensitive to it. So he goes, this could continue for life. So I was like, well, I guess that's okay. But I'm hoping maybe this will be one of those things that, maybe won't be there anymore.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. So you're dealing with the lymphatic system, and everybody's system is going to be different. So like some people will take plane rides and not be affected, and some people will, right? Like some people, so it is a side effect of obesity, but it could also just be like, is your system as well adjusted regardless of the weight? Yeah. The weight will definitely affect that system because it's just more pressure.
Yeah.
Like on the lymphatic system. So getting like, basically it's like water trying to get out, and then there's like weight on top of it. So that resistance now is just like, so it's not a yes, it's not a no, like the doctor said. It's like, we have to kind of see where your baseline is going to be when you're done. But like I said, certain things will help. So the more muscle mass you have, because that will like help kind of pump that system, that will help. So ideally building more muscle, but also using it when you're doing plane rides, if you're seated for longer and things like that. So that will help. It won't get rid of it potentially altogether, but it can help.
Well, I was trying everything this week because there's still 10 pounds on the scale.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay. So yesterday I put my compression socks back on, decided to wear them. What if I just keep wearing them in the mornings or whatever and see if I can, get some of that water pressure gone? Nothing yet. All week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, nothing. It was the same weight all week, exactly where it was. And I'm like,
Yeah, especially like the feet are going to be hard.
it's holding on for dear life.
To get everything out, and it'll take a while. Another thing that you might eventually want to consider would be like lymphatic massage, like that.
What's that?
So, I mean, usually massages are for the muscles, but you can help with the pressure to kind of guide the fluid back up. So you'd have to look into either like a physio center that might offer it, or some spas offer it. It's a little bit rare, but some spas offer it, because like even pregnant women will have some lymphatic issue, because now it's just so much weight on the hips, like the fluid has a hard time coming back up. So you might want to do a little bit of research, but that can help with the fluid return. And also because like if you have it really bad, it can hurt because it's pressure, right? So some people get pain because of like the pressure. Yeah.
It does.
So you can look into like places that offer lymphatic massages. And then same thing, like if ever you go back to Europe, it's like, okay, well, I need to book one of those when I get off the plane, just to kind of help, right? If you want to be proactive and see, but yeah, that's another thing that you can do to help.
Well, they ended up giving me a prescription to start taking before I get on the plane now. And he's like, Athena, this is just what your body does. So maybe that'll help on the travels going forward, which I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
And I'm on the hunt for new compression socks. Get some good ones. They're hard to find when you have, big calves.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. So anyway, so I was like, I feel like I need to change something up, but I don't know what. I put myself back in the deficit on Monday. Well, it was actually Tuesday morning, but nothing.
How do you feel? Like, are you feeling hungry? Are you feeling lethargic? Or it's all okay?
No, I feel fine.
Okay.
I mean, other than some leftover like chest stuff, but other than that, I mean, I feel great.
Okay. Did we manage to get to stop the coffee after 2 p.m.? Like, how's that with being sick, traveling, all of that? How's the coffee thing going?
Definitely had a little bit more coffee on the trip. Then we were go. But like we stopped at Starbucks and got some coffee after the seminar, and then we just did this download right there in the parking lot right after the class, which is fun. And we were sitting around chatting over coffee. But I think that was really the only day.
Okay.
Was that one. Pretty good since been back at home. Miranda was asking about, how the rucking was going. And that was hard when I was sick. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Did it happen when I was sick? But everything has been pretty back on track and feeling pretty good since the beginning of the week. I'm just not seeing any results. That's all. The body's still holding on to something. So I was like, okay, well, maybe it's time to adjust. Remember that 150 that we went up? Maybe it's time to adjust it again. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm. So you said you were up 10 from the first week of August.
Total, yeah.
Total. You still probably have a little bit of edema.
Yeah, there is.
And are you, like, let's say from Monday to now, are you exercising as much as you were at the beginning of August, so before all the travels? Or are you still down a little bit because of the congestion?
No, I think it's pretty back to normal.
Okay. So before we change anything to the calories, I would give you another just week of just being more consistent, and then see if things are coming off. Because like it could just be the edema that's still appearing on the scale, and we're still, in terms of body composition, things are probably still happening on the inside.
Yeah.
And then same thing, if you're building muscle. So if you're still training, you're still doing everything, you're still building muscle that you're hiding because of the edema. Like the scale is not telling us the whole story.
Yeah.
So let's just get more days of being just consistent like you've been doing. Monitor your energy levels, because that was the big tell when you were under eating, was like you didn't feel like you felt like you needed to sleep,
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of
That's true.
energy. So if your
That's
energy
true.
levels are good, all things being equal, and because it was such a big month in terms of the travel, the moving, the changes,
Was.
just nutrition, all of that, we just need more time before we make like an actual change, to make sure that we're making the right one. So
Okay.
consistency right now is just like, until the next meeting, just try to be as consistent as you can, as you've been in the past, right? Getting your
So don't
workouts
change
in.
it.
Don't change anything. And we need to see how your
Okay.
body, and that's the other thing too. Now, with all of those travels, basically now we'll have a benchmark of like, if this edema comes back again, how long do you need to give yourself? Is it going to be 1 week? Is it going to be 2 weeks? Is it going to be a month? Like, we don't know how long it's going to take for your body to clear. And we kind of need to figure that out, because that's just like your body working. And at some point, like it's just like you break a bone, it'll take 2 months to heal. There's just
I mean,
nothing you can do that's going to make it go
it's
fast.
true. I mean, historically, it takes about a week and a half. Sometimes
Okay.
I've seen it take as long as 2 weeks for it to normalize again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're
And
5.
let's give ourselves 2 weeks, like 2 full weeks back into our habits, not changing anything. And then once we're there, then we can start readjusting if we need to readjust. And 2 weeks is honestly like, seems fair. Like, I know it feels long, like we want things to move faster, but that's just like how long it takes for the body to clear.
You know, I think I've gotten beyond the point of speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think I've been doing this long enough now where it's just like, it's going to be whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
You can feel confident and do your best, and you can always keep your Northern Star. But at the end of the day, you know, like it's going to be whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I have to be okay with it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, even, and I know you don't drink, but it's the same thing. Like, when I started wearing the Whoop, it's like, when you talk to people, it's like, you need to stop drinking for 30 days and then some. Because it's like, oh, I'm going to, I won't drink on the Friday, but I'll drink on the Saturday. And it's like, yeah, but it's a week. Like, it takes 5 days for it to clear your system. So by the time you're done, you're living in the loop. And by the time you've done your 30 days, now your body's actually, now we need another 30 days to see like what's going to happen. Like, if you're trying to get body composition changes, like what happens for the next 30 days once we've actually cleared it. Things stay in our body longer than we want them to or think. And that's just another example. Like I said, you break a bone, it's 2 months, right?
Yeah.
Like, something else happens, like a muscle, it's 6 to 8 weeks. Like, things just take time. And so we just have to be patient, and everybody's a little bit different. So if you know that your benchmark is around 2 weeks, let's see if this time around it is. It might be a little bit longer because you traveled twice within a shorter period of time, and it might take more time to clear, but you're still doing everything right. And that's the most important thing.
It's funny that you talked about the drinking part of it. I definitely don't consider myself a drinker. It would be, like, figuratively speaking, rare for me to have any kind of drink. I was just never really into it. So we were down in New Orleans, and we were walking around the French Quarter, and there's literally, like, you could get a drink anywhere. And I don't remember what the drinks were called, but they were the most amazing looking things I had ever seen. And for a minute there, me and my mom were like, wow, you should try one. And it was funny because at the beginning of this year, I thought it was an interesting rule. Hiller was like, okay, no, you got to stay above the line for this year. Alcohol was one of those things above the line. And I gave my word that I wouldn't drink at all this entire year. And so we're down there. Here we are, 7.5 months into this thing. And you don't do it for so long. Like, I was like, well, no, I don't want to mess up. We're 7.5 months in. If I have a drink, I'm gonna have to start all over again. Just the mental part of like, no, I'm actually doing like really good. So I'm not doing it. And so no, we managed to get through the French Quarter without a sip of alcohol.
That's
And I was really
impressive.
proud of myself.
Yeah.
Go down to Bourbon Street, and I'm like, no, I didn't even want that. We stayed on Canal. I didn't even want the mm-mm.
That's
I
good.
wasn't gonna do it.
And that's, yeah, if you accumulate enough, then it becomes harder to break.
It does.
And it's hard to be consistent at first because, like, yeah, that first week is like, it's just been 7 days. But once you're 7 months in, it's like, okay, now you're actually like losing something as opposed to gaining something. So it's just, that's why, like, consistency is the most important thing, whether we see results or not, because they will eventually show up. So it's just like, we have to stay on track.
Yeah, it was. There was enough behind me where I was like, I'm going to feel this one. I might not feel it in my body, but I'm going to feel it here, like, hey, you committed. So it was something that I learned this weekend.
How was your sleep? Did you sleep well while you were on vacation? Did you sleep well while you came back?
No. I slept really good on the first trip. Holy cow. Like when I got in, I slept 11 hours that first night. Couldn't believe it. I literally like kind of let go like I hadn't slept in a year. It was just really good for me. The second trip, no. I loved our Airbnb. It was fabulous. Loved the location, loved everything about it except the mattresses. Comfortable as hell. So no, I didn't sleep good those 3 nights at all. So that was part of it too. Like it was just it was a very busy 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. So that can also play, like the quality of your sleep, quality of the mattress, like all these things. So it's just little side notes that like you can kind of little breadcrumbs that you can leave for yourself in terms of like, is this a potential contributor to the increased edema this time? Right? It could, if you're not sleeping properly, your system's not recovering as well, and things just like, it just gets harder, right? So I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it's not. It's just like, well, all other things considered, like what can we start kind of identifying as potential markers? And then like, again, you rent another Airbnb and you're in the same situation. Like, what can we do to improve that? Because you're not going to change the mattress in the Airbnb, and you're not going to change the mattress if you've rented a hotel and that's where you're staying for the couple of days. But like, can you get a better pillow? Can you call the front desk? Like, can we organize something where you can feel like you're sleeping better and having a better quality sleep? Do you need to have like your room a couple degrees colder than usual when you know the mattress? Because like the cold will kind of just like put you in hibernation, like help your sleep. Like
that's what I did. Although I don't know if I did that because I was thinking like that, or if I just did that because it was Louisiana and it was like I was being fire roasted.
Potentially. But just things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Minnesota girl. You go down south and you're like, I felt like I was a peach cobbler in an oven,
So
little peach scalding.
Nice. So if we look at the weeks going forward, we're going to stay consistent and on track with the food intake.
Yep.
Your exercise is already like you're back on track. We're good.
Good there.
Are we still focusing on anything, coffee or anything that you want to kind of like put a little extra effort in somewhere?
Not really.
Okay.
I know. I think when I started noticing that my sleep was getting affected, like it was just easy to kind of shut that off. Like I don't want to be rolling around at night anymore. So that was kind of easy to shut down in the afternoon.
And then night routine and morning routine, are they still going well? Do we need to adjust? Do we need to sleep a little bit more?
I don't think so. I think the routines are solid. Again, I think that I've been doing those so long, I don't think about anything on there anymore. It's just check, check, check.
So we're keeping the morning and the night routine. Is there something that you want to add? So if we're not removing anything, is there something that we want to add?
Like what?
So do you want to add more variety to your lunches in terms, like, I know you often buy like different things for your meals. Like, is there something that you're like, I want to make sure I'm eating more, I don't know, purple. Like, it's just a fun little challenge of like, it's just distracting, making sure that you can like check something additional on your list.
Good question. I mean,
Like,
not that I can think of.
okay. Is
I
there
feel
fitness
like
wise?
I intuitive, huh?
Oh, sorry, kind of cut off there.
Oh, I was like, I feel like I intuitively do that every week.
Yeah.
I kind of make a point of changing it up every week so I don't get stuck on anything or get bored. I especially do it with my meats, you know.
Okay.
Um,
Uh,
hmm.
is there anything that you want to add to your fitness? Or so if fitness, do you want to add a mobility session, or do you want, like, I'm not sure everything that you're doing in street parking, but like, do you want to add something? Again, the goal is to add something positive that you can check off.
Extra mobility is not a bad idea. It's probably something I don't do enough of, actually.
Okay.
You know, there was something that I did the other day that I noticed. I was out in the garage and there's this, I call it stripper pole. It's this pole that goes right down the center of my garage that actually holds up my bedroom, but there's this pole and I use it kind of like as my little measuring stick. So I was kind of holding on to the pole like this and I was bending my knee forward. We actually were able to touch the pole for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
That's never happened, but it wasn't a conscious effort. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I did notice when I came back, just like how stiff I was.
Yeah.
So probably just swollen legs and stuff. But mobility is something I struggle with. I just
So
don't.
does street parking have like a flow or a mobility or something?
They do. I just don't do it. So when we're talking about adding, like maybe that's something I should be like more conscious about. Intentional about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So how many times per week would you like to add it? Like twice? Because I also like maybe go have a look. Is it a 10-minute session and you can do that 5 times a week? Is it a 30-minute session? And then it's like, we need to plan it a little bit better. Like you can go have a look.
Well, now we're talking about like building new habits.
Yeah.
So my approach to like anytime that you're adding something new, it's always good to say, yeah, we're going to do this for 5 minutes every day. Are you? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like make it to where I can't fail. So maybe it's like once or twice a week for the first week or two. Okay. Easy.
So yeah, once or twice a week. So the first homework is you need to go look at what they offer and exactly like how much time that's going to take. Because again, I don't know if it's like a 45-minute session or if it's a 5-minute session.
I know it's
go look at their mobility track, like what they offer, see how much time, right? And then based off of that, you have to go back into your daily calendar and see where you're going to insert it. Are we putting it with the night routine? Are we putting it with the morning routine? Is it going to be like a midday break? Before lunch, after lunch, like, but that will depend on the length of the program itself. And then if, I don't know, let's say it's a 60-minute session, right? And we can't do that. Can we take that video and do 10 minutes a day? Like, can we break it down? So like, give yourself some options, just see what is doable, how you would like to approach it. We can discuss it on the next call to make sure that, you know, it fits into your routine and it all works. But if everything else is going well, then what else can we add that is also going to go well and help? And I think especially with the edema, just like gentle movement and stretching and things like that, that could potentially help.
Something that I did start doing this week, again, I wasn't really thinking about it, but I have a little power dot. So I started putting those little muscle stimulators on my legs at night.
That's good. Yep.
Yeah. So I like doing that. Seems like it's helping.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll wear those when I'm doing warm-ups, you know? They're just good.
Yeah. Good. So we have that. So that's the homework. We're staying consistent with the food, staying consistent with the training, staying consistent with the morning and the night routine.
Yep.
Right. And then with that, your actual homework is figuring out what mobility protocol street parking offers, making sure that you can fit it in your schedule depending on what it is exactly that they offer. We're aiming for once or twice a week, so that will give you a lot of leeway at the beginning, and then we can kind of see where we can take that.
Okay.
Doable?
Yeah. And I'll do email check-ins at the end of this next week and let you know what it's doing. Okay. So if we have to fit anywhere we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can also on your next session with Miranda, she knows her services and everything that they offer better than I do, clearly. But there could be like a prenatal, postpartum program, something like there could be other things that they offer that could be beneficial because we don't think about it. But like, I know that they have a lot of different tracks, and there might be like a track that isn't specifically for you, but that the benefits that it provides would be applicable to your situation. So you should kind of pick her brain about that and see if there's anything that like.
Point. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So mobility for sure they have, but I'd be curious to see if there's another thing that they offer that could have the same benefits that we're looking for. It's just not like conventional. So that's why I'm thinking like, I know they have a whole thing for like pre and postnatal and like all of that and like
they do
stuff.
They do, yeah.
And you're gonna have some of the same issues, and you're gonna get some of the same benefits. So like, there could be something there that would be interesting.
Okay, deal.
Yeah.
Good timing too, because normally what I do is like, this is kind of how it works. Like I'll pull the new programming comes out on Fridays, so that's today. And then what I do is I look ahead for the next week, and then I pick. So either they have an A, a B, C, and then a shift or whatever. So I'll kind of pick and choose. Like I usually flip back and forth. Like this day I'll do A, this day I'll do B, just to kind of keep things mixed up. So that'll give me a good time to go through there and see what they got. But what was I going to tell you with that? There was a reason that I was telling you that.
You look ahead so you can plan your stuff. That happens to me too.
There was a reason that I was sharing that with you. I'm like, oh, it must not have been that important, because there it went. Anyway, good timing. I can get that done today. Because I need to send her the program.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I send her out the email tomorrow, I'll just add that in there. See if she's got some suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really pretty good about the movement side. She's awesome. Okay.
Excellent. Let me see. Is there anything else in the next coming 2 to 3 weeks that you're worried about? Are you traveling at all in the next 2 to 3 weeks?
No. Thank goodness. There's going to be a break until November.
Okay.
So lots of time. Yes.
I know, because I'm thinking about it now. I think our next meeting is like 3 weeks. It's on the 19th. But we did get invited because like when we booked all our meetings, I didn't know if we were going to go to the Wadapalooza SoCal.
Yeah.
And we're going. Yeah, we're going. So now I'm going to be like Western time. So I'll send you an email so we can look at moving just that one. Everything else should be fine. Or just the time.
I think that was the last
9 a.m. Eastern is going to be 6 a.m. Pacific.
Oh, shit.
We can keep the day, but like the hour might need to. So I'll send you an email. We can go over that and make sure that we have it in writing and everything is set. And we don't forget. Because I saw that and I was like, I don't think Jeff is going to be too thrilled for me to be up at 6 a.m.
Well, that's awesome that you guys are going. You excited?
Yes and no. Yes, because like it'll be like the first year, first edition, like looking forward to
Yeah,
everything that they're offering. Like they show like the map of like what it's gonna look like and things like that.
saw that.
I think just competing is gonna feel very weird. And like I'm not competing. So I don't know how he's gonna feel. I don't know how it's gonna go, but it's been a very interesting couple of weeks already. And it's just like
I can
so,
imagine.
yeah. Yeah. So
He's doing okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody is truly doing okay because everybody is living through it differently and everybody is affected by it differently. So, I
Define
can't
okay
put,
with that.
yeah, exactly. Like what is okay for you? What is, what is that reference? So, I think everybody's coping and dealing with it based
Yeah.
on how much it affected them. Cause that's the same thing. Like everybody was affected a little bit differently.
Sure.
So, but yeah, I think it's just like a weird period to be in for everyone, like even the fans.
Yeah.
Like it's just weird. So we'll see how things go and dealing with.
When do you head out?
Pardon?
When do you head out?
On the Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay.
Wednesday. I think they check in Thursday and then the competition starts Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, it's the whole weekend.
Yeah, it's a whole weekend. It's a 3-day weekend. So it should be fun. Yeah. They started releasing the workouts. Like the workouts look cool. It's gonna be fun to see World versus Team America and North America. Yeah.
It'll be cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So, like I said, I'll send you the email for just that week to see what's best. And then we have our plan for the next 2 weeks going forward. And then you can send me those updates to make sure to see how the mobility is going, keeping everything else equal. And then it's just checking along and making sure we're staying consistent.
Okay.
Cool.
Solid plan.
Yay. Excellent. I will talk to you soon.
You got it, Coach. I appreciate you.
Same. Have a good day.
You got it.
Bye.